Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Voice of Reason podcast. I'm your host, Brian Foltz, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about race yet again. I know I talked about it in the last video, but I decided to take another video and just kind of give my thoughts on things that are going on currently and how they relate to things that have gone on in the past in America. And this will probably be an offensive video to some people, but I don't care because this is the truth. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the KKK, or the Ku Klux Klan. And this is a group back post-Civil War and started by the Democratic Party, or members of the Democratic Party. And basically their goal was to discourage the slaves, the freed slaves, to essentially not become regular citizens, in that they used intimidation and fear through either violence to property or the violence towards people, or the taking of the lives of people. And this was it was done to not just the freed slaves, but also the members of, not members, but the Republicans who were pushing for the rights of the slaves, to be able to vote, even though technically under the Constitution of the United States, they were already, after they became free, they would have become citizens of the United States of America, and they would have been included in, they would have the same rights under the Constitution as any other person. And the group tried to use fear and intimidation to silence those who had opinions that were different than them, and not just that they didn't like the opinions, but that they thought that the opinions were so wrong that some physical harm or violence had to happen in order for them to get what they wanted. And that brings me to the second point, which is that the organization Black Lives Matter is kind of run the same way. They have demands that they would like to be met. They have their opinions that they believe, and they believe in their opinions so strongly that they think that the use of violence and intimidation are the means of getting their point across to the average Americans. So as you can see, these two groups, although some may say they're very different, are actually quite similar. And in my opinion, it's almost worse, because when it comes to Black Lives Matter, the people who are running it are almost using the black community against itself, and it really just makes them look worse, because I mean, and it helps out. It would help out the group leaders, because they don't have to partake in any violence. They're not the ones that are getting in trouble, and it's really a sad thing that there are groups of people that would take advantage of the hurt and the pain of another group of people, and then use them for their own political gain. It really annoys me a lot, because that just shouldn't be happening in America. If I believe in something, I'm not going to go and send Joe down the street to fight for my behalf. I'm going to stand up for it for myself. And I think it's kind of sad that you have people who are making millions of dollars and drive really nice cars and live in gated communities and have their own security and they're doing really well off, try to bash other people who are nowhere on that level as a means of trying to be like them. So you have athletes and coaches of athletes who come out and say, oh, we're scared for our lives and we're this and we're that. And I think that's really divisive. And that's why a lot of things are happening, because the message that should be put out there is you have it really good, and yeah, there's maybe there's people that don't think that you deserve to get what you are willing to work for. That is a very small percentage of the country, and most people don't even think like that. Most people like LeBron James. I mean, he makes money. He's got a nice house. He's got cars. He's got a great family, and he is out here saying that he's oppressed, and maybe a cop will wake up one day and just think that they just want to kill a black person just because, what the heck. And like, what kind of message is that sending to the other people in your community? That's not the kind of thing that will build up a community and make it better. Because what you're telling the people in your community is you have to be on the defensive because this person doesn't care about you, and they're willing to take your life. And so what happens is there's a mindset that if I don't do something, I'm gonna die. This person's gonna kill me, and that is, and look at what the result of that is. The talk, I guess everyone's calling it the talk. It's like, it happens everywhere. It happens in all communities with all races and all peoples and I mean, my mom always said growing up, if you ever get pulled over, hands on the wheel, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Don't make any sudden movements. Always be polite, and always treat the officer with respect, regardless of who they are, what the color is. And that's it. Like, that's it. And then just whatever they say, you just do it. And I know people don't like to hear that, but that's how you. Honestly, that's as much as you can do. As soon as you start getting aggressive, as soon as you start trying to take matters in your own hands, that's usually when things go wrong. So I think we need to do a better job of teaching our kids how to react when they're placed in maybe a unfavorable situation. That will by far help them and make them aware, like, hey, maybe someone is, at least let me think about how I want to word this. It's like, hey, maybe someone wants to be a jerk, maybe someone wants to take advantage of you, but the thing to do is just to still be as polite as possible and to not give them any reason to escalate any situation. It's funny because whenever I hear people talk about the talk, it reminds me of a time when I was younger and I believe I was sitting at the kitchen table and a song was playing, and it was about a guy who was drinking, and he decided to drive one night, and he killed this little girl, and his parents came to the jail, and he was like, Mom, I'm gonna change. I promise you, I'm gonna change. He got out. He started drinking again, and he decided to drive, and he ran over another person, and they died instantly. And he went back to jail. His parents came to visit him, and he was like, you know, guys, I'm gonna clean up my act. I promise. This is the time. I'm gonna change this time. And he got out. He got out after the second time, and he tried his best, but he went back to drinking, and he decided to get behind the wheel, and he hit this lady, and he went to jail, and his dad came and visited him, and he's like, Dad, where's Mom? And he's like, son, the lady that you hit was your mother. And she was just kind of like, hey, do you understand the moral of that story? And I was like, yeah, you got to listen to your parents always. And she said, she's like, if you go to jail, I'm not getting you out. She said, I'll come and visit you. I'll bring you. I'll drop you off a Bible. She said, but if you're in there, then, and you deserve to be in there, then I'm not gonna do anything to get you out. And that kind of really, I was like, oh man, I need to make sure that that I don't do anything that would send me to jail, because I got to make sure that I don't let my mom down. I don't let my parents down. I don't let my brothers and sister down. And now that I'm older, and my siblings have kids, like I got to make sure that people are watching me. They're going to watch me, and I need to make sure that I conduct myself in a manner that will not bring disrespect to them, and in that way they don't have to say, yeah, my uncle, my brother, he took matters into his own hands, and he's not with us anymore. And you know what? maybe at some point I come across someone who just wants to take my life. You know what? I've decided that if that happens, that I'm okay with that. If that's the way I go out, that's the way I go out. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's not really something that I can control. I'm not gonna, if it's, white supremacists are running around just killing people of people who aren't fully white, I guess. That's it. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight to the end. But if that happens, that happens. I certainly hope that people don't try to burn down the city in my honor, because that's kind of ridiculous. I don't want people to do that. There's always a better way, and there's always a way that you can show love and forgiveness to those people who have done you wrong. And as a Christian, I don't really take stock in white supremacy. Maybe if it's here, it's here. If it's not, it's not. If some white supremacist is trying to hold me back in some way or another, I don't really care. If if all my neighbors decide to put up Confederate flags in their yard, I'm not going to care, because at the end of the day, my faith is not in what man can do to me. And if it's a white supremacist and they try to rough me up and do whatever, if they try to bring me down, I'm gonna work hard because of the abilities that God has given me. And at the end of the day, if God wants it to happen, it'll happen, and if not, then it won't. So in conclusion, I just think that we need to, before we start looking at the actions of other people, we need to look at ourselves, and we need to make sure, hey, I did everything I could. I obeyed the laws. I followed the directions that were given to me. I did what I was supposed to do, and then after that, whatever happens. Everything happens for a reason, and we just need to do a better job of making sure that we respect other people, and that maybe in that respect, if they don't like us, that maybe that they will grow to have some respect for us. So that's it for this video. Maybe next video I'll actually do my coronavirus and video that I said a couple videos ago, but stay tuned for more. Thank you guys for watching this video. Remember, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And remember, we've got a country to save.